The Sazerac Company, maker of the popular and infamous Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey, is being sued because those tiny bottles of Fireball that you can get at the gas station, they've got no whiskey in them. I'm Yasmin Khan with the breakdown, and I was shocked upon learning this information. We all know Fireball, love it or hate it, you know it, but the company that makes it is being sued by Anna Marquez for misleading labeling. If you read the very, very fine print on the very, very small bottles, it states that it is a, quote, malt beverage with natural whiskey and other flavors and caramel color. The suit is alleging that that description, combined with the Fireball branding, would naturally imply that what's in the tiny bottles is the same whiskey drink you're getting in the big bottle, or at least that there's some whiskey in there somewhere. There isn't. So when I first saw this story, it was very upsetting, but maybe not for the reasons you're thinking. Instead, I was frustrated at how difficult it is to consume consciously in this country. First of all, who is reading the fine print on alcoholic beverages? Who are these people? Is Anna Marquez the only one? I don't know. And secondly, we shouldn't have to read every single label to ensure that we are not getting duped by marketing. Consumers are exhausted. We are doing our best out here to make good choices for ourselves, for our families, and for the planet, but businesses like the Sazerac Company are making our lives so much more difficult than they need to be. I shouldn't have to be a food scientist just to have some idea of what I'm putting into my body. And while you do have to be so much more vigilant when consuming processed foods, even unprocessed foods can be mislabeled and fraudulently marketed. For instance, if you buy white fish, it might not be the white fish that you think it is. If you buy something that's marked 100% extra virgin olive oil, there might be some 100% extra virgin olive oil in that bottle, but there's also a lot of something else in there. Or you could be getting a lot of filler in things like ground spices or grated cheeses. When one company was caught using filler in its grated Parmesan cheese, its president was fined a mere $5,000 and had to do community service. A $5,000 fine is negligible for a company president, to the point that it could just be considered a cost of doing business. It's hardly a deterrent against repeat offenses. The aforementioned are examples of what the FDA calls economically motivated adulteration, or EMA, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when food processors or manufacturers alter the product in some way in an effort to save themselves some money somewhere along the supply chain, resulting in greater profits for the company. For another example of food companies acting unethically, we can look to Kellogg's efforts to lobby and litigate against stricter food requirements in the US and UK. In the US, the company spent $13.5 million from 2011 to 2021 in their lobbying efforts. Of course, the food industry isn't the only industry where this type of thing happens. We see greenwashing with household cleaners and laundry detergents. The skincare industry is practically just a bunch of companies marketing the same few ingredients to people, and the health and wellness industry is notoriously unregulated. Even oil and gas companies try to convince us that they're doing something good for the planet. Unfortunately, regulatory agencies can only do so much as far as enforcing ethical business practices, so the responsibility largely falls to the consumer to be as vigilant as possible and to stay as educated as possible all the time. It's a lot of work, and it's often very daunting, especially if you're someone who maybe has food allergies. You have to be extra vigilant anytime you're at the supermarket. So in the words of John Spink, the director of the Food Fraud Prevention think tank, there's plenty of things for us to worry about in the world today, and food fraud should not be one of them. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok.